It's the Ross Tucker Football Podcast.
Yeah, it is. But it's not just any Ross Tucker Football Podcast. It is a Power Rankings Tuesday presented by DraftKings, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. We are recording this a little bit different than usual Monday night at halftime of the Monday night football game because of some various travel schedules tomorrow. So I am going to power rank the Bears and Rams based on what I've seen through the first half. Of course, I will discuss the ending of the game and my thoughts in detail on Wednesday's Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Programming note along with that, Even Money Podcast this week will be Wednesday. Because of my travel tomorrow, we're going to push the Even Money Podcast back one day to Wednesday. Makes me a little bit nervous because I was on fire this week. So I don't like to mess up the Tuesday schedule, but such is life when you have to fly to California to do the Colorado State Fresno State game Thursday night for CBS Sports Network. Love the spread the word winners. Love the sponsor confirmation email winners. Love the people that make some comments on YouTube. You make a comment on YouTube, youtube.com/RossTuckerNFL. Boom. You get a chance to get a shout out from me, a video shout out, which is cool. People pay for those on Cameo, birthday or fantasy or whatever shout outs. People pay for those bad boys. You get one for free just by commenting at youtube.com/RossTuckerNFL. Let's dive right into the power rankings, Brian. There really is no big show because we're only halfway through the game. We'll save that for Wednesday. Let's just dive into the power rankings.
It's time for the all-important power ranking. The worst team in the history of the NFL is...
No shocker here. Number 32 once again, and I kind of think it's going to be this way for the rest of the year, the New York Jets.
You know, Bri, probably.
That sounded like a Captain Obvious statement, though.
No. Probably, but they were actually respectable against the Bills on Sunday. They had a 10-0 lead. They covered the spread. They didn't give up a touchdown to a good Bills team. They have a chance, I think. I think the Jaguars and the Cowboys have been so bad that there are a couple other teams that are, by the end of the year, they might give the Jets a run for their money. Now, the Jets actually have to win a football game at some point. But the Jags and the Cowboys have a chance, I think, to give the Jets a run for their money by the end of the year.
Well, number 31, you've already said it, the Jags.
I don't really know what they're going to do. I mean, we knew coming into the year that it was kind of a rebuild for them. So do they keep Doug Marrone? Do they fire Doug Marrone? Do they keep the GM Dave Caldwell? I mean, it seems like ownership kept those guys and was on board with trading Ngakoue and Calais Campbell and AJ Boye and seemingly everybody. So I think it'd be weird to fire them after this year because how did you think they'd play? Although the flip side of that, Brian, would be they started off good and they're getting worse. So that doesn't seem like very good coaching.
Number 30, the Dallas Cowboys.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Now everybody's joking around on social media tonight about Mike Nolan had to stop his press conference with the media because he had Tabasco sauce on his fingers and it got in his eye, which, by the way, I've done that with like wing sauce. Holy cow, does that burn. I mean, that really burns. So I get it, Mike Nolan. I've been there. Cowboys are a horrific team. I don't expect Andy Dalton to play Sunday night. Maybe he will. But based on the last two games, they're one of the 3 or 4 worst teams in the NFL. Hard to believe we're saying that about a team with Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb, and Zeke Elliott, and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, but here we are.
Keeping it in the NFC East, let's go with the New York Giants, number 29.
So I feel like the Jets, Jags, and Cowboys are pretty clearly the three worst teams right now. I think the Giants, you can expect them to at least be competitive in football games. I think the next few teams, Bri, are all teams that do a pretty decent job of being competitive. Now, the Giants trading Marcus Golden, they're kind of feeling like they're waving the flag on this season. That was a big game for them Thursday night. I think if they beat the Eagles, there would be a different vibe around the Giants. It would be okay. We won 2 in a row. We're in first place, the NFC East. We're building something here with a new coach. That was a significant loss for them. It really was.
Once again, let's keep it in the NFC East. Number 28, the Washington team.
Washington's is my preference. How about the fact, by the way, that they won a game 25-3, and I still have them 28th best team in the NFL? We'll see. I mean, it's hard to give them that much credit when you beat a Cowboys team like that looks like they've kind of given up and laid down on the season already, which is unbelievable to say. So we'll see if Washington actually has something going here or if that was just an anomaly.
Number 27, the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bengals fans should feel good about where their team is right now. You got one. You got a real one in Joe Burrow. Now, they've had some excruciating losses, and I know you want to win those games. But if we're being honest, you're not going to the playoffs this year anyway. I know you want to build on stuff. The higher you can pick to get an offensive lineman for Joe Burrow or a defensive player, the better probably for Bengals fans. I mean, you almost want to lose every game 34-31. Burrow looks great, but you still get the draft really high.
Number 26, the Atlanta Falcons.
You know, Bri, you almost get to the point where you don't know what else to say about a team and their ability to lose games that they shouldn't lose. But that is where we're at with the Atlanta Falcons right now. It's uncanny how many games. I mean, they really should probably be like 3-4, 4-3 if they just didn't blow and choke these games out. It's incredible.
Number 25, the Denver Broncos.
Kind of disappointed in that performance against the Chiefs. You know, I said this yesterday. They did some good things. I mean, they really did. I thought they did some good things defensively. Lindsey looked good, but Drew Lock, not good enough. Special teams, not good enough. They're another team I'm curious because I feel like they could go one of two ways for the rest of this year. Thought they had a little bit of momentum after winning a couple of games.
24, the Houston Texans.
So Deshaun Watson will kind of always give them a chance, but this is a bad football team that has an interim coach. They know more changes are on the way. They don't seem like they have a whole lot of direction. It just feels kind of like a sinking ship, which is kind of incredible considering how many resources Bill O'Brien doled out they don't have to build around and the money to Tunsil and Deshaun Watson and these guys.
Number 23, the Los Angeles Chargers.
So the Chargers are not a good football team, but they've got some real bright spots. And Herbert being the biggest one, Joey Bosa. You know, they're still a beat-up team on the O-line and the secondary. The Chargers are the team that you look and you're like, well, Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry and Mike Williams and Herbert's playing well, and they got Melvin Ingram's back. And then you start thinking, well, why aren't they better? I don't think they're extraordinarily well coached. I think that's a negative. And I think that their offensive line has issues as well.
Number 22, the New England Patriots.
Bri, how long have we been doing this? 8 years?
Since 2013, and I was thinking the same thing. I've never seen the Patriots at number 22.
I don't think, well, I had them 12 to start the year. So I was going to say I don't think they've ever been below 10. I had them 12 to start the year, but they've certainly never been in the 20s.
They were never at 16 until last week.
Right. They were so bad against the Broncos and even worse against the 49ers. I kind of gave them the benefit of the doubt after the week off of COVID and Cam against the Broncos. But after that Niners performance, you can't anymore.
Number 21, the Minnesota Vikings.
The Minnesota Vikings, they had a bye, so not much to say other than trading Yannick Ngakoue is kind of proof that they know this is not their year and they're trying to get some more assets for next year. Also probably means that Mike Zimmer and Rick Spielman are safe.
Number 20, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Eagles didn't move up or down. I feel the same way about them. They need to get healthier. They're not a great football team, but I think they're pretty clearly the class of the NFC East. I think they'll show that. We'll see.
19, the Detroit Lions.
So the Lions have now won a couple games in a row. You know, they were fortunate to beat the Falcons, but that's okay. They're unfortunate with some of the losses they've had. So they got a 500 ball club. I think about where I thought the Lions had a chance to be this year.
Number 18, the Miami Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins had a bye, and it's Tua time. Tua Tuesday. Check out at Ross Tucker NFL, at Ross Tucker Pod. I'm going to post that clip of what Greg Cosell said about Tua tomorrow. I'm going to post that clip tomorrow. Tomorrow's a brand new day. Wow, I'm getting all kinds of things, Brian, between a Tua Tuesday, a Tua's Day, tomorrow. Tua's like a treasure trove of being able to use puns or whatever those are called.
That would be a pun, yes. A play on words. Number 17, the Las Vegas Raiders.
I dropped them a couple spots. Arguably, they could have been dropped more, but I'm giving them a little bit of benefit of the doubt because of the whole O-line COVID thing. The issue, though, is it was the defense that got absolutely torched. I know Abram was out, so that makes a difference, but still, it was the defense that was torched, and that was the main issue, not the O-line.
Do you know how many spots you dropped them? Tua.
Bright. Nice.
Number 16.
Like pay attention. I like when you're in. I like it.
Number 16, the 49ers.
So very impressive. Back-to-back wins. You get the win against the Rams, win on the road against the Patriots. Feels like the Niners are coming a little bit, even though they keep getting more injuries like Jeff Wilson. Feels like the Niners are coming a little bit. NFC West is vicious.
Number 15, the Carolina Panthers.
Love this Panthers team. Love what Matt Rule's doing with them. They are, I would say, a year ahead of schedule. This is probably about how I thought they'd perform next year, year 2 of Matt Rule.
Number 14, the Indianapolis Colts.
Had a bye, not much to say.
Number 13, the Arizona Cardinals.
Cardinals didn't move up or down, which is a little bit surprising, beating the Seahawks, but I had already moved them up a decent amount based on how they absolutely destroyed the Cowboys. When Kyler Murray, now their defense, especially in the secondary, I don't think Patrick Peterson's the player he used to be. Their defense without Chandler Jones and with Patrick Peterson not being the same guy leaves a little bit to be desired. But if Kyler Murray can throw that well, they still got a shot to keep their team in every game this year. Speaking of keeping things in the game, you guys got to stay healthy. You got to keep your bodies in the game. The stress of daily life, COVID, pandemic, the election. I got to tell you about Theragun. I just found out about Theragun, and I haven't gotten mine yet, but I cannot wait because I've talked to people that have. It is absolutely awesome. Theragun is handheld percussive therapy device that releases your deepest muscle tension using a scientifically calibrated combination of depth, speed, and power. I'm going to use it to massage my neck, my traps, which I need right now, sometimes my quads, My wife needs it for her traps. These things are awesome. Try Theragun for 30 days. There's no substitute for the Theragun Gen 4 with an OLED screen, personalized Theragun app, and the quiet and power you need. Starting at only $199, this thing will save you a bunch of time and money with other things that you would do where you don't need to do that now because of Theragun. Go to Theragun.com/Tucker right now and get your Gen 4 Theragun today. That's Theragun.com/Tucker. Theragun, THERAGUN.com/Tucker.
Number 12, it's the New Orleans Saints.
Workmanlike victory without Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. They almost went to overtime. They didn't. Breeze was efficient. I still feel like I'm waiting on this defense to perform better. I still don't understand why the defense doesn't perform better. That, like even against the Panthers, they're like dropping coverages. DJ Moore's wide open. It's a weird year for the Saints defense.
Number 11, the Cleveland Browns.
So the big news there is that Odell Beckham Jr., as I predicted early Monday morning, done for the year, torn ACL. At this point, Bri, I got to say I'm almost 100% with my NFL Insider tweet translator. I mean, I can see what they're saying. I know what's coming. And we'll see. Obviously, it's a big loss. He's a special player, his energy. But it seems like Donovan Peoples-Jones can do some things, good things. Rashard Higgins can do some good things. They have 3 tight ends that are all good. I think Kevin Stefanski will figure it out.
Number 10, the Buffalo Bills.
The Buffalo Bills, not great in terms of how they played against the Jets, but I'll take it. You give up 4 yards in the second half. I mean, the concern for me for the Bills is really twofold. Josh Allen's penchant to be inconsistent at times and the defense. I thought Allen was a little bit more consistent against the Jets, and I thought the defense was much better, especially in the second half. Those are 2 things that they can build on.
Number 9, the Bears.
Bears playing right now, and it's 10-3, and it reminds me of every Bears team ever. I tweeted this during the game, at Ross Tucker NFL. Reminds me of every Bears team for the last 20 years. The offense is very, very challenged. The defense is very good. The special teams are pretty good, but they need the defense and special teams to be like lights out. Otherwise, they're not going to be able to score. I mean, they really need the defense and special teams to score points for them. That's how bad the offense is.
Number 8, the Rams.
Rams, it's a lot of Sean McVay. He's awfully, awfully impressive. The different tempos he uses, he gets Goff in rhythm. Guys are open. Now they haven't scored that many points so far tonight, but I'm still very impressed by McVay. I think he and Kyle Shanahan, they're up there among like the class of the play callers in football and play designers. I love the way they change up tempo.
Number 7, the Tennessee Titans.
I guess I moved the Titans down 5 spots. Seems unfair considering they lost to my number 1 team by 3 points, a missed field goal at the end of the game. But they were kind of dominated for most of that game, if we're being honest. I mean, the Steelers were the much better team. And I don't know. I think these other teams would probably beat the Titans in my backyard now in a best of whatever series. Best of 5, best of 7 in my backyard. So, yeah, I dropped the Titans quite a bit. If you're going to get upset with me, go to Ross at RossTucker.com. Take advantage of any of our sponsors, like Theragun, like Grammarly, like DraftKings, whatever. Send it to me, Ross at RossTucker.com, and you can complain or ask me a question whenever you want.
Number 6, the Seattle Seahawks, who lost to the number 13 Arizona Cardinals. And complain about that.
I only dropped them one spot. I mean, they were still, I thought, the better team in that game. Russell Wilson uncharacteristically threw 3 picks. So I didn't drop them that much. I don't think that they really changed. They're still kind of who I thought they were, Brian.
Number 5, the Green Bay Packers.
So they kind of flopped with the Seahawks because the Seahawks had a bad game and the Packers had a nice bounce back. Wasn't sure if they'd have that bounce back. Nice bounce back against the Texans, even without Aaron Jones. That was an impressive performance by the Packers.
Number 4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So the number 1 ranked NFC team. And right now, Brian, I think that they would be at least 5-point favorites against any other NFC team. I think they're better than the Packers by a significant amount. The Seahawks, they're just by far the most complete team. They run the ball pretty well. Brady's throwing it well. The defense, I mean, a lot can change between now and then. We'll see if Antonio Brown upsets the apple cart, but I think the Bucs are pretty darn good.
Number 3, the Baltimore Ravens.
Had a bye, not much to say other than they traded for Yannick Ngakoue, who's a dude, and they got Des Bryant. We'll see what happens there. So good things happening as the Ravens are trying to load up. Ravens are trying to load up for the stretch run.
Number 2, the Kansas City Chiefs.
Chiefs are the Chiefs. I think I am guilty, like a lot of people, of perhaps holding them to too high of a standard. Because even though they slaughtered the Broncos, I still kind of felt like they could have done more. It seemed like Mahomes was getting the crap beat out of him a lot. It seemed like the Chiefs were able to run the ball. I mean, the Broncos were able to run the ball pretty effectively at times. I don't know. I'm sure I'm being too hard on them, but that's the standard. That I feel like the expectations for them are so high. That's how I feel.
Russ's number 1 team, which is totally meaningless, but it's fun and will get many of you incredibly annoyed, is
Number 1, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're going to take on number 3, the Ravens this weekend. I'll be there in Baltimore.
Oh, I didn't know that, Bri. That's awesome. What an awesome football game. Looking forward to that one. Always a terrific matchup when those two teams get together. Should be an old-fashioned slobber knocker. I don't know who came up with that, slobber knocker. Do you know, Bri?
I don't, but as you were saying, I was like, I have a feeling he's going to say slobber knocker. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know if that was John Madden or what, but old-fashioned slobber knocker should be awesome. Steelers have a really good team. They did let the Titans get back in it, but it doesn't really change that much of what I think about them. I still think the Steelers are absolutely the best team in football. Now, the Chiefs can beat them. The Ravens can beat them. The Bucs can beat them. Maybe even Packers, Seahawks, Titans. I think that all of those are possibilities. But top to bottom, passing game, running game, special teams, defense, right now, I will take the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I will tell you, Bri, that we have time to get to a question, email question. That is rare on a Power Rankings Tuesday.
Ever wanted to ask an NFL player a question? Well, here's your chance. It's time to Ask Ross.
Email address, ross@rosstucker.com. I love nothing more than to read and respond to your questions on this show. Please, please, please take advantage of any of our sponsors, or just rate and review the show, or just make an Amazon purchase after you click on the banner ad and get to the landing page at RossTucker.com, and I'll answer any question you got. What do you got, Bri?
Hey, Ross, I've been listening since the days of the 4-Letter Network. I love your positive attitude as I'm a Browns fan, and we need it. We Browns fans are homegrown, usually legacies, never imported. My wife and I took advantage of your HelloFresh deal with the code 80Ross, and we got $80 off. My question is concerning rookie O-linemen this season. How are they grading out as rookies, especially since Jed Willis is following one of the greatest left tackles to ever play in Joe Thomas? If you have any, I'd love a signed card from your time with the Cleveland Browns. Thanks, Ross. By the way, you picked a great co-host in Bry. P.S. Next time you see him, tell Matt Williamson to stop being such a Steelers homer. Very respectfully yours, Captain Dan from the United States Marine Corps. Thank you, Captain Dan.
Yeah, Dan, first of all, you know how I feel about this. Dan, thank you so much for your service. He's a support company commander, 9th Communication Battalion, United States Marine Corps. Really, really appreciate that, Captain Dan. What do you think of when I say Captain Dan?
I think Lieutenant Dan from Forrest Gump just got promoted.
Yes.
Is that what you were going to say?
Well, I forgot that it was Lieutenant Dan and not Captain Dan, but yes, I think Forrest Gump is what I was going to say. I don't, by the way, Dan, I don't have a card from the Browns. I only have cards from the Redskins, Cowboys. You know, what do you say now, Bri? Like, I have a Redskins card, but they're not the Redskins anymore.
But
the
your
card is a Redskins card.
Your card says Redskins. You played for the Redskins. You did not play for the Washington football team. You played for the Redskins.
Okay. So I just wasn't sure what to say there.
I understand why they have changed it, and I accept that. But, you know, if you can't rewrite history, it already happened. And you have a card that says the Redskins.
Yeah. So I have cards for the Redskins, Cowboys, and Bills, Dan, not Browns. So let me know if you want something else. I'd be happy to do that for you. Jedrick Wills is playing very well. Mekhi Becton's been hurt for a few weeks, but he was playing well. Wirfs is doing a nice job. I think Wills has probably been the best one of the bunch. Andrew Thomas from the Giants, the first one that was taken, really, really struggling, which is a little bit surprising. He was the first one out of 4 that was taken, Bri, and he's the one playing the worst. You know, maybe he'll turn it around, but that is a bad, bad look. This will be posted shortly after midnight, so you'll love it on YouTube. You'll love it on your podcast apps. I'm pumped for you guys that love the international folks that when we get it up early for you, we'll post it after midnight. Shout outs to Pizza Boy Brewing, DynastyFreaks.com, Sporticulture, SteakhouseSports.com, Vision Comics with an X. As a reminder, we will have Even Money and Fantasy Feast will both be on Wednesday this week. Fantasy Feast is always 2 of them, Wednesday and Thursday, but they'll both be Wednesday this week. Other than that, I think we're done here.
Thanks for listening to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Fantasy Feast, Even Money, Business of Sports, and College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, RossTucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.